Good morning, and thanks for joining me. I want to start by asking, when you hear retirement, what do you picture? Rocking chairs on a wraparound front porch with a view? Pina coladas and sand between your toes at the beach? How about 18 holes on a lazy Monday morning? Now, where are my ambitious dreamers at? Is it a sports car winding down the coast? Or how about a yacht parked out in the bay? Imagining where we want to be comes quite easy to most of us. But how do we get there? My name is Jeremy Ralya. I work for a leading company in the retirement services industry, and I hold a license that entitles me to buy and sell the mutual funds and securities that are the basis for traditional retirement plans. It is quite literally my job to understand the numerous options for retirement planning. But I'll tell you that the single most important factor in your planning is time. I'm here to tell you that it's never too early to start saving for retirement. And with uncertainty around traditional sources of retirement income and a near guarantee of missed opportunity for waiting, young Americans should begin investing in themselves today. Fail to plan, plan to fail. Have you heard that? Today, I will help you plan for the potential absence of traditional options. Plan for the realities of an increased life expectancy, and plan to save a little over a long period of time so you don't fail to get where you want to be. I'll kick things off with a cold dose of reality. Planners have to recognize that the options, like pensions and Social Security, that our parents and grandparents retired on, are becoming less and less readily available to future retirees. By a show of hands, how many people know someone who retired from one of the large auto manufacturers? GM? Ford? Chrysler? Have you ever heard them mention their pensions? Many employers today have shifted away from company-sponsored pensions in favor of options like the 401k. Defined benefit plans like pensions specify how much retirement income employees can expect once they retire. Unfortunately, according to the Department of Labor's Employee Benefit Security Administration, the number of defined benefit pension plans have plummeted by over 70% since the late 1980s. Alternatively, employers today offer defined contribution plans like a 401k. They're typically paired with a company match. Defined contribution plans, as you may be able to deduce from the title, specify how much the employer will contribute to the retirement plan while the individual is employed. Instead of a guaranteed payout at retirement, these plans serve as a vehicle. They promote saving throughout your working years, and they're further incentivized by the matched contributions chipped in by our employers. Now, defined benefit plans are not the only traditional source of retirement income that you likely won't find in your portfolio in the future. Has anyone ever heard of a small government-run program called Social Security? If you can look past the political debate about why and who is at fault, the fact remains that the longevity and the solvency of the federal Social Security system is more and more regularly called into question. Our second largest generation ever, the boomers, are having a big impact on our Social Security program as they age. By 2031, the youngest boomers will have passed full retirement age of 67. At which point, there will be 75 million people over the age of 65 in the United States. That is nearly 2 times as many as we had in 2008. At that point, we had just 39 million citizens living their golden years. The problem with this is that That ratio of workers contributing to Social Security to the beneficiaries receiving a benefit payout will drop from 2.8 workers per Benny down to 2.3 workers per Benny starting as early as 2035. And that's not all the good news around Social Security. The Social Security Administration's 2020 annual report cited some startling findings. The Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund Reserves, or OASI for short, exists primarily to cover retiree benefits. Unfortunately, that report says that this trust fund is projected to be depleted as early as 2034. While Social Security will not completely cease at this point, it is projected that only 76% of scheduled benefits will be covered by the government's tax revenue alone. With the influx in beneficiaries and a shortage of reserve funds, we can only assume that the Social Security system that we know today will have to undergo transformative and uncertain changes by the time the young people are eligible to draw. Our parents could place their trust in their employer and the government to provide at retirement. With limited pensions and a shaken faith in Social Security, retirees of tomorrow need to be intentional about their very own planning. Another reason to make savings a habit is that people today are living longer than ever before. While this is great news on its face, it poses significant challenges for traditional retirement planning. The positive note here is that around the world, due to advances in medicine and technology, life expectancy is increasing. According to statistics found on SSA.gov, the Social Security Administration indicated that the life expectancy of a 65-year-old in 1940 was less than 14 years, while today the 65-year-old is projected to live longer than 20 years. The not so positive note is that this equates to approximately 7 additional years that we need to stretch our retirement income savings over, and ultimately requires planners to take additional action to ensure we don't outlive those savings. According to Fidelity.com, the average U.S. citizen aged 65 to 74 spends $46,295 per year on living expenses. If we extrapolate those figures across the additional 7 years of life expectancy, today's retirees need to plan for an additional $280,000 to $320,000 to ensure they simply don't outlive their retirement savings. So how do we combat the combination of limited sources of retirement income and increasing expenditures as society continues to push the boundaries of human life expectancy? Ironically, the answer is once again with time. Saving a little over a long period results in dramatically higher retirement account balances compared to when folks try and catch up later in life. Let's talk about compounding interest for starters. To illustrate the power of compound interest, this example from the Department of Labor compares the benefits of early investing to the results of a delayed commitment. Consider a 20-year-old who this individual will invest $1,000 for 11 years in a row, and then they stop investing altogether. If that money is earning 7% interest, that investment will be worth $168,000 when this individual retires at the age of 65. Now, say that person waited to start investing for 10 years. They lived it up in their 20s. They spent that $1,000 a year on bar tabs and cover charges. At 30 years old, he or she decides, while I'm still young, I've got to get my stuff together. And they start investing $1,000 a year for the next 35 years. if they were earning that same 7% interest, their 35 years of investing would only be worth $148,000 at 65. By delaying their investments, this individual had to put in more money over a longer period of time to end up with less retirement. Start today. Now, getting started is, well, just getting started. The daily decisions you make can have a significant impact on your end retirement balance. Small decisions, like increasing your savings by just 1%, can result in a big payoff down the road. As I'll demonstrate here on my Fidelity app, increasing your contribution rate by just 1% costs me personally an extra $28 per paycheck today, but results in a projected additional $215 per month when I retire and I'm going to need it most. And that brings us to big decisions. This one is one I myself am trying to come to terms with. I'm a big fan of Mr. Dave Ramsey. In his books, Dave shares with his readers that the average new car payment in the United States is now sitting around $554 per month. Now consider this. If you invested that same $554 from the age 30 into your 401k and it earned 12%, which is the average market return over the last 30 years, your car payment would net you just over $5 million when you retire at 67. When you consider what it's really costing you to drive that ride, does that new car smell really worth it? Now, let's assume you've started to invest early and you're disciplined in making small and big financial decisions alike. There is still one more trick to maximizing your retirement. Remember that 401k we began our time together talking about? Well, while widely seen as a less attractive option when compared to pension plans, rest assured your 401k is still a powerful tool for getting you where you want to be in retirement. This is especially true if you remember 4 little letters. R-O-T-H, Roth. They say there are only 2 things in life that are guaranteed: death and taxes. Well, with a Roth 401k, that's only partially true. Yes, your contributions are taxed up front as part of your regular income. Uncle Sam will take his cut today and then the remainder will be invested. The key feature to the Roth, however, is that those contributions grow tax-free. In a traditional 401k, your contributions are tax deferred. You contribute to your plan, your money grows, and at retirement, when ideally you will be in a lower tax bracket, the distributions you take are taxed at that time. By making the change to a Roth, you can maximize your retirement income. Plan to keep Uncle Sam out of your pocket when you need the money the most. After all, he doesn't really deserve a cut of those hard-fought earnings that you've made from years of disciplined investing. Fail to plan, plan to fail. Now, you can plan for the rocking chair on the front porch. You can plan for pina coladas on the beach. And you can play 19 holes on a Monday. Yes, you can even start to plan for the yacht in the bay someday. From this point on, I'm confident you will not fail to recognize the absence of traditional sources of retirement income. You will not fail to factor in life expectancy, and you will not fail to implement small changes that have a big impact on your retirement. It's never too early to start saving for your retirement. Don't fail to plan. Begin investing in your future today. Thank you.